As clear, the appointment of senior advocate Indu Malhotra for the appointment as Supreme Court judge. In fact, she will be the first senior woman advocate to get an elevation as the SC judge. The Supreme Court Collegium had recommended Indu Malhotra's name, which has now been accepted by the government. But there is still no word about the elevation of Justice K.M. Joseph, Chief Justice of Uttarakhand High Court. Justice Joseph's fate remains a bone of contention between the SC Collegium and the centre. K.M. Joseph, as Chief Justice of Uttarakhand High Court, had revoked the centre's order to put the state under President's rule. Anusha Soni, my colleague, now joins me live for more on this story. Anusha, on one hand, after a lot of tussle and after a lot of confrontation, now one judge, being appointed as the Supreme Court for the Supreme Court, but a lot of questions about Justice K.M. Joseph.
Ankit, this entire conflict has to be seen in the wider context of the crisis brewing within the judiciary. So on one hand, you have Congress moving the impeachment motion, and many argue that this is an intimidation of the judiciary. On the other hand, you have the central government who doesn't want to clear certain names for the appointment to the Supreme Court because they've given certain unpopular decisions as far as the central government is concerned. Justice K.M. Joseph, at his tenure at the Uttarakhand High Court, as you mentioned, gave that historic judgment which said that the imposition of precedent rule by the Modi government in this manner, not only in Uttarakhand but in many other states that time, was a challenge to the democracy. He also used some very harsh words to criticize the way Modi government was acting that way. Now, ever since that order, Justice K.M. Joseph has been widely applauded within the community, within the judicial circles, for standing up. But at the same time, his elevation was recommended back in the month of February. But so far, it's only Indu Malhotra's file which has been cleared by the centre, and so far no reasons have been recorded as to why Justice K.M. Joseph's name has not been cleared. And I must also point out, Ankit, that the convention demands that once a name is twice recommended by the Supreme Court Collegium, despite centre rejecting it once and the Collegium referring it for once again, that name is bound to be cleared by the centre by the convention.
But they have not yet, given it a denial or have not, have not rejected the name of K.M. Joseph. They are only keeping it hanging, it seems, Anusha. But larger question that you were also now mentioning about the judiciary being used for political purposes. The BJP is quick to attack the Congress on impeachment. They seem to be playing the same game when it comes to the judicial process.
Right. Absolutely, Ankit, and I've been reiterating that we live in a time when the judiciary faces an unprecedented onslaught, and this can be only compared to the emergency era. Now, I must also point out that on many occasions, and mostly the Law Ministry never outrightly cancels a name or rejects a name, because just sitting on the file is an easier way out, because once you reject a name, the reasons have to be recorded relatively in writing. You have to give that the IB clearance was not given, or there was some other sort of problem or apprehension. There has to be some sort of communication on an outright rejection. So one of the tricks that is used by any government, not just this government, but even in the past we had seen during the tenure of Justice Lodha, when he was the Chief Justice of India, the elevation of Gopal Subramaniam was not done. And that time, Ankit, the Chief Justice of India had come out in the open and criticized the government for doing that. Now this time we need to see, will the Chief Justice of India stand up to the onslaught of the centre?
That's a very important question, and all eyes would be, in fact, on whether the Chief Justice of India and how he now reacts to this, because he also himself has been under a lot of scrutiny, to say the least, as far as the ongoing this entire relation between the executive and the judiciary is concerned. Anusha, stay on with me. I'm going to come back to you, but there is a breaking news coming in as of now. The former Finance Minister P. Chidambaram has tweeted, delighted that Ms. Indu Malhotra will be sworn in as judge of the Supreme Court tomorrow. Disappointed that Justice K.M. Joseph's appointment is still on hold. What is holding K.M. Joseph's appointment? His state, or his religion, or his judgment in the Uttarakhand case? As the law stands now, the recommendation of the SC Collegium is final and binding in appointment of the judges. Is Modi government above the law? Let me quickly go across to my colleague Polumi Saha, who's joining me for more on this. Polumi, scathing attack now on the state of judiciary now by former Finance Minister P. Chidambaram. He questions the Modi government on why are they still sitting on the appointment of Justice K.M. Joseph.
That's right. The Congress is going to obviously rake this up against the centre. There is a press conference which is scheduled later this afternoon as well, which the Congress's eminent lawyers Kapil Sibal and Vivek Tankha will be addressing, who are also members of Parliament. And what P. Chidambaram is saying is what the basic question the Congress is raising as to why is it that the Congress is, the centre is sitting on the recommendation by the SC Collegium of elevating Justice K.M. Joseph to the Supreme Court of India. These were the two names which were in fact moved by the Collegium, which were cleared by the Collegium almost 3 months ago. Indu Malhotra, Advocate Indu Malhotra, who in fact becomes the first woman to be elevated straight from the bar to the Supreme Court. And then of course Justice K.M. Joseph, who is the Chief Justice of the Uttarakhand High Court. P. Chidambaram asking questions of the centre, saying what is it that is stopping you from pushing forward with this recommendation? You sat on this file for 3 months, and only after 3 months did the Law Ministry proceed to move the file towards the Intelligence Bureau in terms of its clearance for the elevation of Indu Malhotra. Why aren't you clearing K.M. Joseph as well? Is this
clearly,
state,
Polumi, politics being played from both the sides as far as this as the judicial process is concerned. Very, very sad as far, as the condition in the country, the situation in which the government and the opposition party both are accused of playing partisan politics on judiciary. Thank you so much for joining us with all those details.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you will love to.